So Srinivasacharya, he was a preacher. He didn't have any initial temple. He was very eager to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he left Bengal and he walked all the way down. You see, he approached the devotees at Bengal, and they said, you have to go down to Orissa, that is where Lord Chaitanya is. So he went all the way down to Orissa by walking. It takes some time. And as he was going, finally he reached Jagannath Puri. He saw there was a tumultuous crowd everywhere. People were crowding outside the temple and the doors were shut. And he came and he asked, where is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I want to have his darshan. And after walking so far, people said, you do not know. You do not know. Lord Chaitanya has left. He's gone. He just entered into the temple. He never has come out. That is why all these people are here. It is a disappearance ceremony. He has disappeared from this earth. His Lila is finished. That is why everyone is crying and weeping. There no longer we can have the darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srinivasacharya, he was completely shocked. He fell unconscious. Then he went and he tried to find who can advise me. Who can? I want to study Bhagavatam. They said, well, Gadadhar Pandit, he is present. You can learn from him. He said, I'll be very pleased to instruct you in Bhagavatam. But our Bhagavatam is no more. We have been reading Bhagavatam, and by the constant tears flowing from our eyes as we're reading the pastimes of the Lord, our Bhagavatam is completely washed out. So we know the things by heart, basically, but we cannot instruct, you see. So you should go to Navadip, and there they can rewrite the Bhagavatam and bring a Bhagavatam back here, and I will teach you. Because at that time Navadip was where all the Pandits were. All the big Brahmins were in Navadip. If you wanted to get a Bhagavatam, you just walked up to Navadip and got it written for a few months and then walked back. It's very convenient. You can understand that those who are reading the Bhagavatam were very great souls. So, Srinivasacharya set off back for Navadvip and engaged some brahmanas, and they wrote the 18,000 slokas of the Bhagavatam on talpata, palm leaves. Then, with those palm leaves, again he departed back for Puri. When he reached Jagannath Puri, again he saw there was a big festival, but everybody was crying. Then he said that, what is this? And they said, you don't know? Gadadhar Das has just disappeared. Again, he was completely crushed. He had come all the way, and just before he reached, Gadadhar Das had wound up his pastimes. So then he tried to find out that who is there that can instruct me. He said, now everyone is gone. If you go to Vrindavan there, Rupa and Sanatan, that time one brother was left, I forget. They are still there. If you go to them, they can instruct you. Rupa Goswami. And so then Srinivasacharya, he walked to Vrindavan, walking with his Bhagavatam. Walking to Vrindavan there, he saw outside the temple, another huge crowd, big kirtan, people crying. Rupa and Sanatan, they disappeared. This time, he was just completely like a madman, wailing, crying, how will I learn the Bhagavatam? Everyone is gone. Everyone is gone. He completely just fell unconscious. He woke up and he was in the house of Jiva Goswami. The Jiva Goswami instructed him in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So during that time, Krishnadas Kaviraj also he was writing and completed the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and some other devotees like Ramachandra, when we say Ramachandra Sangha, Ramachandra Kaviraj, there are 8 Kavirajas, 12 Gopalas. So 4 or 5 devotees, they were heading with a big trunk with Bhagavatam on the top, Chaitanya Charitamrita on the bottom, and they're heading back towards Bengal. As they're going, then they were entered into Bengal. There was one king in Bankura. This people say, this part of the story is according to the way I've heard it from other Vaishnavas, that this king had some astrologer who was very expert in finding out when the traveler is coming, there carried some treasure. So he did his calculation, and he said, there's 4 or 5 sadhus coming, and they have with them most valuable thing, most valuable treasure. So the king sent out his soldiers who go as bandits, dacoits, and while they were asleep, they stole away the trunk of all the scriptures from the bullock cart. And when Srinivasacharya woke up, he was crushed. So Narottam Thakur separated, went to Denur, where he met later with Janavi Devi. Janavi Devi was in charge of the preaching for some time after Nityananda had assigned her. And that's another story. Narottam Thakur's Kirtans were introduced at that time. And Srinivasacharya, he was determined that I have to find Chaitanya Charitamrita. I mean, Krishna Das Kaviraj had spent such his complete old age, so much effort. He's bringing this Chaitanya Charitamrita had never been exposed to the Bengalis in Bengal. This is the first edition coming back. It was stolen. Srinivasacharya, he knew that how much the devotees in Bengal would be eager to get this literature, and it was stolen. He was just completely in separation. So he went to the king. There he saw that his trunk was there, and when he opened it up, saw there was some books. Closed the trunk. So he said that, don't you know what these literatures are? And he said, well, our pandits are reading, but we don't find much in it. And he said, what do they say, your pandit? They opened up, on the top, Chaitanya Charitamrita had come. And so they started to read and give their smarta commentary. And Srinivasacharya, he started saying that these people are not actually very learned. And they got very uptight, the brahmanas, how you can say. So what they're saying, sounds nice, but it's not authorized. So then he said, well, what do you have to say? You're talking so big. So then he sat down and started to give his lectures from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhagavatam, and everyone was completely amazed. Who is this person? And he goes on preaching Jiva Goswamis, by his mercy, expounding all the Vaishnava philosophy. The king surrenders to Srinivasacharya, says, you are my guru. So he set up his Sripat at Vishnupur in Bankura district, and became the king's guru, and established the whole district in pure Vaishnavism. From East Bengal, Narottam Thakur sent some disciples to Manipur, and they established Gaudiya Vaishnavism in Manipur. In this way the preaching was going on. So Srinivasacharya is one of the great acharyas in our line. It's his appearance day today. He actually brought the Chaitanya Charitamrita from Vrindavan to Bengal to the devotees, and we can see that in his lifetime there were so many obstacles for him to find a spiritual master. He was so eager, but every attempt he made was, by will of providence, it was thwarted. But he never gave up his determination. He was firmly fixed that I must learn the Bhagavatam from simply a pure devotee, someone empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could have hired some professional Brahmin, or he could have sat down and tried to read it himself. No, he didn't want that. He knew, I must hear it from the lips of a pure devotee. And practically he was walking to the end of the world, through the jungles. There's no proper road. He's carrying it's a huge affair. It's not like carrying, you can imagine we just carrying our Bhagavatam, it already weighs so much. Book distributors develop calluses in their shoulders. He's carrying it simply written out by hand on thick palm leaves. One must get the shelter of a spiritual master and be engaged in service and receive instruction from the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada was so kind that he came to the Western world. The devotees are so kind, they go door to door to inform the people what is the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore it's easier for them to find spiritual master. But who is bona fide spiritual master? That is what is hard. So the actual qualification that one must be empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, Srinivasacharya, so many times he was so close, yet a miss is as good as a mile. Just missed. We see ultimately Krishna had in store for him a spiritual master, greatest scholar of our time, of our sampradaya, Jiva Goswami. One must not give up his determination to get the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Bhaktisiddhanta was refused by Gorkishore. I will not give you initiation. Who am I? I'm just a poor, illiterate, devotee. I don't have so much learning as you. I can't give you initiation. You are very intelligent, educated. What can I teach you? The spiritual master tests the disciple. Krishna tests. Is he actually sincere? If without testing one is insincere, that is not a goodness. One should be tested. And one should be willing to undergo any test Krishna gives, either before initiation or after initiation. That is the refinement of devotional service.